Phase 2 awareness refers to aspects of the individual of which you need to be aware but is not the central focus of the activity. And it usually relates to the successful participation of the activity. Some concepts within this phase include accommodations, specially designed instruction, and medical awareness. Accommodations have a focus on individuals' disability. They are not created. It impacts the successful completion of tasks, are usually needed for participation, and are usually used in other settings. Accommodation is usually a physical aid that without that aid, the student wouldn't be able to participate in the activity. Things along the line of maybe some corrective eyeglasses, power wheelchair, a walker, things of that nature. Specially designed instruction is strategies particularly related to learning style, which are based on the individual needs and maximize the opportunity for successful participation. In this video clip, you'll see doing tactile sign and using speech to communicate to the student what the student just did for this activity session. And that's also a good way to close an activity sometimes, which would be another example of specially designing instruction, is going over what the student had just did as a review and a closure to that activity. Some characteristics of specially designed instruction. It often relates to the individual's disability. It has an impact on whether tasks are successfully completed, often is combined with accommodations during construction, and almost always is converted into a modification during construction. Some characteristics of specially designed instruction include it often relates to the individual's disability. It has an impact on whether tasks are successfully completed. And to give you an example on that, if you have one or two students and you want them to complete a certain task like a shuttle run and you're not using the right mode of communication, they don't understand clearly what the expectation is, and then they're not successful at it and they might not return to the activity. If you can catch that and say, wait a second, maybe they didn't understand it, go back and look, maybe I'm not using the right mode of communication. Maybe if it's not sign language, maybe they need some support such as pictures or symbols, something of that nature. So that's an example of specially designed instruction, how it will affect the completion of the task. Some other characteristics include it's often combined with accommodations during construction, and it's almost always converted into a modification during construction. Medical awareness, and this involves identifying any health or medical related concerns that you need to be aware of so that you can maybe have some things in place if you need to. Some things you might need to be aware of stuff like diabetes or cardiac conditions, seizure disorders, or asthma. And generally, you should have medical doctor clearance for participation in any exercise program for individuals.